It all started in one sheet of paper, folded in half 2 times, stamped by a trembling hand, and put in a wooden box with the inscription "for legal purposes only." At first no one gave much thought. In a family where every secret had its rightful place, one additional envelope did not seem like something to be concerned about. But when that paper finally made an appearance from its hiding place, it tore through decades of faith, devotion, and love, leaving behind only silence and suspicion. Because that document wasn't just a contract. It was a marriage license. A valid one. Between Kody Brown and Robyn Sullivan. Signed years before the other wives even knew. And according to county clerk records, the witness signatures were forged. Now sister wives are not splitting up houses. They're splitting up a courtroom. And there is no family council this time, only the truth, the law, and 4 women fighting to rewrite the story they were forced to live. For when a covenant based on faith becomes a tool of the law, love itself goes on trial. Cameras snap within the courthouse. Journalists ask the same question over and over. Who fiddled with the marriage certificate and why? The entire focus is on the wives, each one with a different piece of the jigsaw and a different tale to tell. Christine irate and stubborn. Janelle calm but cunning. Mary broken but honest. And Robyn, shaking behind her air of innocence. Somewhere between lies and love, one of them knows the truth. One of them saw it. And one of them is going to lose everything. Because in this family, law isn't the only thing that's broken. And when the truth finally comes out, someone won't lose just the case, they'll lose their name. It continues where the hook left off, courtroom doors opening, first hearing started, and the emotional ground for the rest of the story is set. You'll also see one bold retention booster line, around every 300 words, that blends naturally into the story, keeping fluency and engagement high. Sunlight cuts through the courthouse windows, weak but sharp, as if it were in on a secret that the rest of the world is not. A crowd has gathered outside, impatient, inquisitive, hungry to see and know. Phones held up, hoping to catch a glimpse of the family that once represented love in all its complicated ugliness. Inside, the air has a weight to it. Everything is an echo, the shuffling of papers, the muted hum of whispers, the soft clink of the tiles beneath the shoes. It is not just a courtroom today. It is the cemetery of secrets. Christine is seated to the left of the room, her fingers closed in a tight fist so that her knuckles are white. She does not take her eyes from the table where the brown envelope sits, sealed, formal, menacing. Inside that envelope is the so-called blood contract, the marriage license by which everything started. Across from her, Robyn sits silently beside Kody. Her red but dry eyes stare blankly forward. Her tense body is stiff as a board, but her mind is racing wildly. She knows that each camera lens focuses on her face. Each shudder, each gasp will be analyzed and criticized. Kody, on the other hand, is different. No longer the indulgent patriarch, no longer the forceful father figure. His hair grayer, his eyes sunken. He leans forward, elbows on the table, staring straight at the judge's bench as though he is looking for an exit that there is no exit. Janelle comes in quietly, doesn't look at anyone, just walks to her seat, drops a file, and sits with the dignity of someone who's tired of fighting, but still willing to fight. And then Mary, tentatively by herself, pausing at the door, catching her breath and walking in. Her eyes dart to Kody, but he doesn't look back. It's a small moment, but it says everything. The judge coughs and the room is quiet. This court is now in session for the case of Brown versus Brown. Before us, legal status, fraud, and property division related to the alleged forged marriage license of March 17, 2010. The date lingers in the room. 2010. The year everything began. Christine squirms in her seat. She remembers that year all too well. The vows, the late-night discussions of eternal love and spiritual equality. She remembers the manner in which Kody brought Robyn into the family in tears, proclaiming it fate. Fate. That term continues to burn. Years later now, over a decade ago, that same fate has a court date and an evidence number. It is strange how something that was created in love can then be translated into evidence of betrayal. Christina's attorney rises first. Unruffled, unrepentant, but with a tone that cuts through the air. Your Honor, what we're going to prove is that this document, this marriage certificate, wasn't just kept from the other wives but manufactured. The witnesses' signatures are forged, and the notary seal doesn't match the registry. This wasn't a mistake. This was a conspiracy. Kody's attorney is adamant. Your Honor, my client claims there is a misunderstanding. The document exists and the information that was left out by clerical oversight. The family lived in one household for years. There was no fraud. The judge gives a slow nod, her pen scribbling out across her notebook. Her face is still, but her eyes flash toward the evidence table. The room sees her look. The envelope still sits there, waiting to be opened. Robyn whispers, barely audible, but Christine hears it. Their eyes hold for the first time in years. There's no love in that glance, only history. Christine swears under her breath, you knew. Robyn cuts her look. The clerk extends the envelope to the judge. The judge breaks the seal with firm hands. The tearing of the paper is too harsh. It resounds through the courtroom like thunder. There are 3 pages within: the license, the signatures, and the notary statement of record. The judge reviews them slowly, then glances up. Mrs. Brown, are you saying that Mr. Brown misrepresented this as a valid legal marriage when it was fraud? Christine nods. Yes, Your Honor. He did. And we trusted him. The words hit Kody like a silent cyclone. He says nothing, but his jaw tightens. For an instant, he seems to be about to stand up and object, but he instead buries his head in his hands. All deception starts small until one day it takes a lawyer to explain it. Robyn finally says the words, her voice trembling. I didn't know it was wrong. I thought it was real. He said it was just forms for protection. For the children. Christine shakes her head. Protection? You mean lies? We were all living in La La Land while you two signed real agreements in secret behind our backs. The courtroom whispers. The judge insists on silence. Janelle's turn follows quietly and assertively. Your Honor, I have documents of bank transactions conducted the same week the license was signed. Funds wired into a new account in Robyn's name, as family property holdings. That account also contained deposits from our business partnership. The judge looks at Kody. Brown, do you have anything to say? Kody stands up straight. All I did was for the family. Every dollar, every decision. I was trying to keep safe what we built. Christine leans in close. So why did you keep it a secret from us? Kody is silent. The silence stretches so long that it feels like the walls themselves are listening. And then finally the judge speaks. This court will have a handwriting analysis and examination of the notary seal. Meanwhile, both sides are ordered not to comment on the case outside of court. The gavel cracks through the tension. The session ends, but nobody stands up yet. The wives sit there in silence, their minds wandering. Robyn wipes her face. Janelle rounds up her papers and shaking hands. Mary just sits at the vacant seat beside her, staring at it. Christine folds up her things and stands up. She looks over one final time at Kody. You told me that love was forever. But now I know it had an expiry date. She leaves first. The exterior cameras flash in bursts as she departs, but she doesn't look up. The courthouse empties slowly, but the echoes remain behind. Christine walks along the marble hallway, the report of her heels sounding like a metronome to her anger. Newspersons call out her name, the same question asked over and over. Did he fake it? Was it Robyn? Are you avenging yourself? She doesn't answer. She continues walking past the cameras, past the noise, until the sun outside stings hard enough to cut through her head. At the lot, Janelle catches up to her. Christine, wait. Christine stands stock still but won't turn. Janelle is quiet. You were wonderful in there. But this isn't over. The judge is going to demand proof, real proof. Christine finally looks back. We'll find it. He thinks he can twist the truth like he always does, but this time it's on record. They stand there for a moment, the wind pushing their hair across their faces, 2 women bound by betrayal and years of shared pain. Then Janelle opens a folder she's been clutching. Inside are statements, old bank records, business receipts, and something new. I read through the old property records, says Janelle. There's a notary who is named, some person named Ellen Draper. But she died in 2014. Which means someone else signed that paper. Christine exhales a breath, half relief and half horror. Then we just found our first ghost. The further down you dig for truth, the closer you come to the people who buried it. Inside, Kody and Robyn stand outside the judge's chambers. Kody paces back and forth like an animal in a cage, jaw locked, eyes darting with restlessness. Robyn sits immobile, spinning her wedding ring back and forth, as if it might reveal something to them. Finally she whispers, "Why didn't you tell them? Why couldn't you just tell them the truth?" Kody turns on her. "Because the truth doesn't hold in that room. You saw their faces, they need a villain, and they've already decided on me." Robyn's voice cracks. "Maybe because you lied to them all that time." Kody's face is cold, his eyes wide with shock at her bluntness. "Don't start this now." "But she does. You told them the contract was to protect me. You said it was harmless." He looks away. "And I believed so then." She shakes her head. "No, you thought it was assistive. There's a difference." The silence that follows is more crushing than any fight. For the first time, even Robyn isn't sure on which side she stands. Later that evening, the wives meet at Christina's home. It's the first time all four have been in one room since the breakup. The atmosphere is like thin glass, one wrong word and it will break. Mary sits motionless in the corner, fingers tracing the rim of her teacup. Janelle spreads the documents out on the table. Christine stands at the head, unwilling to sit. Robyn is last, grudging, eyes swollen. No one speaks initially. Then Christine, "We need to discuss the notary." Janelle nods. "I have her file. Ellen Draper, Salt Lake City. She passed away 5 years before the date this license was recorded. So either she had her signature forged or someone else used her seal." Mary finally raises her eyes. "Why would anyone do that? What could they possibly gain?" Christina's eyes penetrate Robyn. "A legal marriage. A claim to property. All that we shared that was legal became hers." Robyn swallows hard. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't. Kody handled everything. He said it was normal." Christine steps forward. "You think we're going to believe that?" Robyn's voice trembles. "I wanted to be included in the family. I never questioned it because I did not want to lose it." Mary sets down her cup, finally speaking with a stability that takes them aback. "Know what's ironic?" she says. "We all wanted the same thing. We wanted to belong. We just thought different lies to get here." No one responds. The words sit there, motionless but sharp. At other moments, the person who says the least carries the truth that hurts most. Janelle spreads another document on the table. "I contacted a private investigator. She's good. Discreet. She's going to trace the notary seal and the witness signatures. If there's forgery, she'll find it." Christine nods. "Do it. And tell her to start with whoever notarized the property transfers. It's all connected." Robyn's eyes widen. "You're hiring someone?" Without telling Kody. Christine glares. "We're not asking for his permission anymore." The session ends without goodbyes. There is only the sound of papers rustling as they are gathered up and doors closing behind them. When Robyn leaves, she stands by the gate for a moment, looks up at the house for the last time, and says to herself, "I never meant for it to be like this." Later that evening, the private investigator makes her first phone call. She is Elena Price, a retired federal handwriting analyst. She stands quietly as Janelle recounts. Following a pause, Elena says if the notary died, then the stamp should have been retired. To use it after she passed is federal forgery. Someone was careful about what they were doing. Janelle's heart throbs. "When can you start?" Elena replies, "I already have." The media runs stories non-stop. Old family clips surface, smiling interviews, laughter that now feels staged. Every outlet asks the same question. Who forged the contract? Kody releases a brief statement to the press, measured defensive. He says the accusations are exaggerated, that the family is going through a private legal matter. Christine refuses interviews. Instead, she focuses on gathering evidence with Janelle. Mary hovers between them, unsure where she stands. And Robyn cuts away from the cameras altogether. Then, on the 5th day, a call on the phone. Elena's voice is calm but frantic. "I found out something. The ink in the signature is not the same as the ink on the rest of the paper. Different pen, different pressure. It was added after." Janelle sits down slowly. "Who signed it?" Elena stops. "I matched it to his and Robyn's. It's not his. But it looks like it. Somebody who had written his hand." Janelle's breath is suspended. "You're telling me that it was faked to look like his?" "Yes," Elena responds. But the individual who did it knew him very well. The next morning, Christine is called again. She listens quietly, her eyes on the courthouse stairs outside her window. Someone in our family forged it, she whispers. Someone who wanted it to look like Kody's hand. Truth no longer merely sets them apart. It stalks them. Because once a secret starts to unravel, it doesn't stop until it reaches the one who tied the initial knot. The courthouse is changed this time around. The crowd is rowdier, the cameras cozier. The mood hums with questions no one is ready to answer yet. Christine walks up the stairs, jacket zipped close about her, same envelope clutched in her hand, but this time with a report inside, not a secret. The wives return to their seats, all in the same place as before, but something in the room has changed. The walls feel more constricting, the light more harsh. Janelle places a fresh folder on the table. Robyn has her hands folded in her lap. Mary sits a little separate, quiet as a rock. Kody comes in last. His attorney is by his side, talking softly, but Kody isn't paying attention. He stares at the judge's bench like a man going to his own confession. The judge begins, her voice steady. We have come together today to hear new evidence submitted by the lawyers for the plaintiff. Mrs. Brown, you may proceed. Christine remains steady, her voice though her hands tremble slightly. Your Honor, our own private investigator has analyzed the signatures on the marriage license. The reports show unambiguous evidence of forgery. The notary's seal was that of a deceased official, and the witness signature was appended later, in handwriting very similar to that of Mr. Brown's. A murmur wave ripples through the courtroom. Cameras pop from the back row. Kody's jaw tightens. The judge looks up. And who conducted this analysis? Elena Price, retired federal handwriting examiner. Is she present? Christine nods. The back door opens. Elena enters, calm, professional, carrying a thin black binder. Her eyes scan the room once, taking in every face before she reaches the witness stand. After being sworn in, the interrogation begins. Price, Christina's attorney asks, describe to us what you've discovered. Elena opens her binder. Well, the signature for witness 1 was made with a different pen, most likely appended after days of the initial document being signed. The handwriting mimics Mr. Brown's style, same slant and spacing, but pressure and rhythm are incorrect. It's an educated imitation. The attorney nods. It's a forgery then? Yes, Elena answers curtly. There is an audible gasp that circulates through the courtroom. Kody's lawyer rises immediately. Objection, Your Honor. This expert can't state with absolute certainty who forged it. The judge nods. Sustained. Go on, but don't guess. Christine watches Elena carefully. Each word is like a slow knife turning. Elena continues, the forged signature was most likely signed over by someone who had access to Mr. Brown's personal papers. Someone close enough to have become familiar with his handwriting. The silence after that is heavy. Christine moves a little closer to Robyn, and Robyn behind her. When truth finally comes into the room, everyone feels guilty, even the not guilty. The defense lawyer begins his cross-examination. Price, couldn't handwriting differences occur naturally as time passes? Elena titters slowly. Yes, but not from one document to another. These differences aren't natural. They're deliberate. Kody leans back, his face unreadable. But Robyn's gaze darts over to him, seeking reassurance that never comes. When the judge dismisses the witness, Elena closes her binder, glances once more at Christine, and leaves the stand without another word. The judge calls a short recess. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Outside in the hallway, Christine corners Kody near the exit. You could stop this right now if you just tell the truth. Kody's voice is low, controlled. You want the truth, Christine, but you don't. It'll kill all of us. She takes a step closer. Let it kill. For an instant, his eyes flick with something that looks like fear. But it's lost almost at once. Back in her own home, Robyn sits by herself, staring at her hands. When Mary enters, she freezes. For a second, they just look at each other. Two women who used to share everything and now are bound together only by regret. Mary says softly, if you know something, you need to tell me now. Robyn's lips tremble. You think I don't? You think this doesn't haunt me? Mary's voice softens. Then tell the judge, Robyn. Don't let him make you carry it. Before Robyn can answer, Kody returns. His appearance closes the air once again. He gives Mary a glare. You always find some way to complicate things. She meets his stare steadily. No, Kody. I just stopped pretending. The bailiff calls everyone back in. The second half of the hearing begins. Christina's attorney steps up first. Your Honor, on this evidence, we respectfully request that the license be declared invalid pending criminal investigation. Kody's attorney snappishly rejoins. Your Honor, this is family bickering, not crime. My client is innocent. The judge leans back, weighing both sides. I will examine the evidence closely. But I must warn both sides. The truth is not concerned with titles and families. It is concerned about facts. Those words hang there long after she utters them. When the session is over, Robyn stays put. She doesn't move as the rest of the room empties. The courtroom slowly empties, person by person, leaving her sitting there. After a moment, she whispers to the empty room. It wasn't supposed to be this way. She reaches into her purse, pulls out her phone, and scrolls through her messages. One stands out. A text from years ago. The sender's name is blurred in the reflection on her screen, but the words are clear. Don't worry. I'll handle the paperwork. They'll never know. Robyn's breath catches. She slams the phone shut quickly, glancing around as though anyone might have heard her mind. All secrets take a trail, even the cyber kind. Outside, Christine stands on the courthouse steps, staring at the gray clouds moving in. Janelle joins her, holding her coat against the wind. What do you think she's hiding? Janelle asks. Christine doesn't answer at first. She just stands and stares at the courthouse door, waiting for Robyn to come out. The last she says, not what, who. The initial raindrops start to fall. Cameras withdraw. Crowd thins out. But the storm raging over the courthouse feels larger than weather. Feels like something that's been waiting years to happen. In the courtroom, Robyn dabs tears from her eyes and rises, still holding her phone. She lingers for a considerable duration, then approaches the clerk's counter. Excuse me, she says softly. If I'd like to give something anonymously, could I do that? The clerk rubs his eyes, confused. Depends what it is. Robyn nods thoughtfully. Evidence. And with those two small words, the entire burden of the case begins to turn. Because guilt isn't necessarily what you've done, sometimes it's what you couldn't stop. Rain drums on the courthouse windows the next morning. It's persistent, almost rhythmical, like the halting tick of a pulse that refuses to subside. Reporters get there early, umbrellas angled toward the doors, cameras flashing through the mist. Inside the corridors, the air appears to be cooler than usual, more desolate, like even the walls are waiting for something to happen. At 9 a.m., the clerk notices an envelope on her desk. No address to return to. No markings on the outside. Only one printed label. Evidence submission, case 11-72B. She's confused, opens it gingerly, and finds inside a small flash drive and a crumpled note that says, "For the court's truth, not their revenge." By noon, the judge has been notified. There is an emergency hearing tomorrow morning. No one outside the courthouse has a clue what's in that envelope, though rumors fly fast. Christina's lawyer calls her that night. There's new evidence, he says. She catches her breath. What type? We don't know yet. Anonymous. The judge says it's electronic. Christine looks out her window at the storm. Then it's not finished. Downtown, Robyn takes up her living room. The rooms are dim except for the glow of her phone. Her hands shake. She keeps watching herself replay the video file she uploaded, watching it load, waiting for the moment when she can't bear it anymore. The shame is more burdensome now that it's out there. She talks to herself, it's better this way. They deserve to know. Meanwhile, Kody sits alone in his office, papers everywhere. His phone rings and rings with calls from his lawyer, but he doesn't pick up. He glances at an old photo on his desk, taken years ago when things were all new and everyone was smiling. He can't even remember when it was taken. Everything seemed stable back then. Today nothing does. When the hearing reconvenes, the courtroom is overflowing. Every seat taken, every eye fixed on the flash drive sitting on the judge's bench. The tension hums under the fluorescent lights. The judge adjusts her glasses. This recording was submitted anonymously. I verified it's not manipulated. For transparency, we'll view it together. The bailiff inserts the flash drive. The screen flickers, static crackles in the room, and a video plays. It is an office, drably lit, covered in papers. Kody is seated behind the desk, pen gripped in his hand, papers spread out in front of him. He is younger, possibly by 10 years. A voice off camera says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Kody takes a deep breath, massaging his forehead. It's the only way to seal it. We can't continue to pretend. If they ever find out later, they'll lose everything. The voice asks, "What about the witnesses?" He speaks softly, "Don't worry. I'll sign them." Gasps erupt in the courtroom. Robyn's hand flies to her mouth. Christine weeps. Janelle seems unable to breathe. The judge freezes the video. Silence follows, the kind that weighs more than sound ever could. Christine's voice breaks the stillness. That's his voice. Kody stands suddenly, his chair scraping back. That's taken out of context. The judge bangs her gavel. "Mr. Brown, sit down." But he doesn't. "You don't understand. That was a private conversation. Someone recorded me illegally." The judge's tone hardens. "Then perhaps you'd like to explain the context, Mr. Brown." He hesitates. His mouth opens, closes. His hands shake slightly as he runs his hands through his hair. Finally, he says, "It was done to protect the family. To provide Robyn and the children with protection in the event something were to happen to me. I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt." Christine stands up. "You stole our trust, Kody. That is worse than any signing of your name. All truths cost something, and others only pay when the time is right." The judge calls for a recess. Flashbulbs pop. Security tries to push back the crowd as it surges toward the hallway. Outside the courtroom in the hallway, Janelle catches up to Christine. "He admitted it, Chris. On tape." Christine shakes her head slowly. "He will still spin it. He always does." Janelle breathes out. Now at least everyone saw it with their own eyes. Christine stares at her, her voice soft. Seeing is not believing. Not with him. Robyn sits by herself again in the house. She feels the burden of the secret weighing on her more heavily now that it's been made public. Mary approaches hesitantly. "You sent it, didn't you?" Mary says. Robyn's eyes brim up. "I couldn't hold it in anymore. He said it was for the family, but it was actually just for himself. I thought perhaps this would set us free." Mary nods gently. Freedom doesn't always feel like peace. Sometimes it feels like this. In their own chambers, the judge watches the video frame by frame. The voice, the date and time, the handwriting all match, she says to the clerk. But the identity of the man who recorded that conversation is unknown. The clerk glances up. "Would you like an investigation?" The judge nods. "Yes. Whoever recorded that conversation is now a key witness." By nightfall, the clip's out on the internet. News channels play it on repeat, analyzing every statement. Public opinion shifts quickly. Some attribute Kody's doing to protecting his family. Others refer to it as evidence of manipulation. For the wives, it's no longer about headlines, it's about closure. At Christina's place, the women come together again, subdued initially. Janelle speaks up at last. "We could finish it now. We could settle, take what belongs to us, and leave." Christine shakes her head. "He turned our lives into a contract. I won't quit until the court untangles it." Robyn sits silently in the corner, puffy eyes. "You think this does any good? We all lose, Christine." Christine turns to face her. "No, Robyn. Now we have the right to speak the truth." The doorbell. Janelle opens it. Elena, the investigator, standing on her porch, rain-soaked, holding a new folder. "There's something else," she says. The video metadata contains a phone registered to Robyn Brown. The room freezes. Christina's eyes widen. "You recorded it?" Robyn's voice cracks. "I didn't intend to. Asked me to record our conversation, told me he needed proof just in case the others betrayed him. I just never deleted it." Mary exhales quietly. "And you reported it?" Robyn nods. "Yes. Because I could no longer live with it." There is no sound. The patter of the rain fills the space again. Finally, Christine steps forward. "Then you did what was right, Robyn." Robyn wipes her face. "Doesn't feel like it." Christine shakes her head. "It never does when truth finally costs you everything." That night, the headlines change again. Anonymous source confirmed. Robyn Brown leaked evidence against husband. The world that once marveled at their harmony now dissected their collapse. In his own house, Kody sits in the dark viewing the news. His phone rings with calls that he fails to answer. His face on the TV screen is older, emptier. He mutters to himself, "You wanted the truth, now deal with it." He stands up, paces back and forth, and looks at the family photos on the wall. Smiles frozen in some other life. He takes them down one by one, placing them face down on the table. Thunder growls again outside. When the storm does finally come, it never asks who needs the rain, it just comes down on everyone.